You've probably never seen me in a hat before. It's because I am not a hat person. But today my hair is in such a state that I thought it was better to wear this hat. And besides, I can, represent the home team. But the hat also helps us to think about a part of the armor of God. Ephesians 6 talks about putting on the helmet of salvation. And that helmet of salvation needs to go on our heads whether or not we are a hat person. And I think sometimes we think about the helmet of salvation as just referring to the time when we're saved, as that time when we move out of the kingdom of darkness and into the kingdom of light, as that time when we know instead of facing an eternity separated from God, we will face an eternity in heaven with God. But I think the helmet of salvation means much more than that. And I think it has to do with what it talks about in Romans 12, 1 and 2, about how we are to not be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of our mind. Salvation is that once in time moment when we accept Christ as our Savior. But it is also an ongoing process of becoming like Christ. And as our mind is transformed, as our brains are protected by the helmet of salvation, we become more like Jesus. And there's a verse in Philippians that if you asked my daughters, they would have said they might have hated just a little bit when they were growing up, because it was something that we talked about a lot as a measuring rod for what we put in our brains. And it's from Philippians chapter 4 and verse 8. And it says, "Finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there's any excellence, and if anything worthy of praise, dwell on these things." In other words, the things that go into our mind should be things that are worthwhile, should be things that edify, that build us up, should be things that contribute to us becoming more like Jesus. A lot of times I think we forget the fact that as believers, Christ is with us. And the things that we're seeing, the things that we're reading, the things that we're watching, the things that we're putting in our mind, he is right there too. And I'm not saying that as kind of like he's watching you wagging his finger. I'm just saying that we need to remember that the helmet of salvation is there not only to indicate our spiritual eternal state, but also to remind us that it's an ongoing process of our mind being transformed into the image of Christ. I hope you have a great day today, and I hope you think on those things that are excellent and worthy of praise.